Hi, this is Lori from Shoo Shoo Paper Art, and today I am making this wonderful vintage framed Halloween shaker card that also is an easel. Come up and stand like that. Kind of cool. This is a printable on my blog. I've heard these described as a candle holder where the inside is there and it has a little hole and you put a candle in it and hold it underneath so that the wax doesn't melt on your hands. So I'm not positive that's what this is, but I have seen them advertised that way. This is really pretty simple to do, so let's get started. The first thing you'll do is print out the frame and cut it out. It'll look like this. I've also gone ahead and, you probably can't see it, but applied the clear craft sheet there with some double sticky tape. So that's already done. The next thing I did was cut a circle, maybe it's the moon, and I used a little bit of this Colorbox Curry ink pad, just kind of to give it some age and change the texture and look of it just a little bit. So not all over it, but yeah, a lot of it. Okay, just to give some age. All right. The background piece is this die cut, and I'll have that linked there in the supplies information. And I want my moon to be centered, but I'm also going to check and make sure with my frame that it's in the right place. And it looks like it might be just a little bit high, so let me pull that down. That looks pretty good. So I think that will work about right there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in place. Now to make the well for the shaker part of it, I cut 3 120-pound rings, just using 2 circle die cuts taped together to make that. Stacked them together and glued them. And then on top again is the double-sided tape. So I'm going to just place that on around the moon like that. So let's get that glued in place. And I'm going to put my glue really close to the edge because I don't want my sequins slipping underneath. Now, I used some orange sequins in my mix, and I also glued a couple of them in place. So I'm going to get my witch die cut that I put on top, and I'll also have this linked. She's wonderful, isn't she cool? I'll have it linked there in the supplies, and she's going to go on something like that, so it kind of gives me an idea. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue these in place. Those in place, I'm ready to go ahead and put the rest of the sequins in there. I'm first going to remove the tape so that I don't have to do that once the sequins are in there. I'm going to just flip this off real quick and I'll turn it back on when I've got this tape off, because sometimes it takes just a little bit of time. Okay, so this is the last annoying little bit off there. And I forgot to mention that I also stamped 2 little bats there on the moon, and I'll have the stamp set linked below. All right, so I'm going to sprinkle in some orange sequins, also some black seed beads, and these are kind of some peach colored seed beads as well. All right, that's probably enough. Maybe a couple more orange. Oops, I'm losing them. Don't want to lose them. Okay, make sure they're all in there. And I'm going to put the top on. I lined the cats up where there wasn't one really bright at the top. I just turned it kind of a little bit so that it kind of looked like they, I don't know, I just liked it this orientation. So we have the shaker part done, and now we're ready to think about the easel. For the easel part of the card, I used a scallop circle die cut, and you're going to start with a folded piece of cardstock. This is 120-pound black cardstock, and where I put 3 of the scallops up above the fold so that it doesn't cut through. So when you run this through your machine, probably about 3 to 4 times to cut all the way through both layers, you will end up with something that looks like this. And this is going to form the easel part of the card. Okay, so when you're doing this, you want to make sure that when it's closed, that the card doesn't stick out down here or stick out up here. That's kind of one of the important things. So line up the card, and it's going to go, let's see, I always think about this wrong. It's going to go like that, okay? So you're going to put the closed part of the card down at the bottom of the shaker. And just kind of line it up there and see if that's going to work. It's going to open up like this, and you can see how I'm holding that on. You're going to need to fold the top piece about halfway back. And I would do this on a score board, but I forgot to bring it down, so I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, so now I've got a mountain fold, and then this is going to be the bottom part of the card, just like that. I'm going to put on the sentiment part, which actually holds the card up in place. It stops the card from sliding any further. All right, the sentiment is also a printable. It comes with the frame. It looks like this when you have printed and cut it out. I put a yellow piece of cardstock behind, and also a black piece just to raise it up a little bit more. And that needs to be placed on the card just somewhere where the top probably is about halfway. And you just want to make sure that it's on there straight with the back of the card there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. And now this part is going to be glued to the back of the shaker that we just made. You kind of want to test it out and just make sure about where it needs to go. You'll be able to feel where it feels right. And then also just hold on to it and close it up and make sure it's going to be hidden top and bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. And also check and make sure before you glue it that you have your up, and that it looks like the way you want it. Okay, there we have our shaker part. that stands perfectly fine. All right, then we're ready for the decorative portion on top of the card. Here's the one from earlier. Okay, you can see that I have the witch on, and the witch is put on with some pop dots so that she's a little bit up off the card. So we can just slip those on. And I forgot to bring my scissors down, but I would cut some of these, make them smaller to put in those smaller parts of her so that there's more than one pop dot on the back of her. And that will be glued on. And then we also have this cute little ribbon tag combination. And the tag is also inked up with the Curry Color Box ink pad. And some of the pretty yellow and orange seam binding ribbon and black and white twine, and stamped with a little kitty. So that completely finishes the shaker easel card. So I hope that you will print it off and have some fun making one of your own. So happy Halloween, and remember, you can always find me at shoo-shoo paper art.com.